literary forest. Animals here have natural camouflage that help them blend into their environment. Now, if you look off to the right-hand side up on the hills there is an okapi. The okapi, due to the striping found on its lower legs, is often thought to be related to the zebra. However, it's actually one of the closest living relatives of the giraffe. On this left-hand side here, we're going to be passing two different antelope species. Now, the first here, the lighter tan one, is known as the greater kudu, one of the taller antelope species, standing around 55 inches at the shoulder. While up ahead,
I'm just going to be able to film on my side
only species is known as the bongo. Now, the bongo gets the nickname Ghost of the Forest for the rarity of their sightings in the wild. They usually like to hang around large natural salt deposits, as they need large amounts of salt in their diet in order to remain healthy.
We're going to bump into each other a bunch on this thing. It's moving water behind you and it hits you in the head. I know.
Now, many of the animals you'll often find out here in the Little Ituri Forest are much smaller and more compact than those you'll find later on out in the savannah, as they need to be able to run and break through the dense underbrush and foliage here in order to escape from predators. But headed away from the Little Ituri Forest, now we're going to be headed down to the Safi River. Now, as we make our way down to the Safi River, we may get a chance to see some Nile hippopotamus. The Nile hippo is born at around 85 pounds, and they can weigh up to as much as 5,500 pounds. Because of this, they're known as negatively buoyant, which means that while they don't float, they will run or gallop along the bottom of the riverbed in order to get around.
He's actually driving this. This ain't on the track. I don't think.
Now, if you look back off to that right-hand side, you can see them just through the gap in the log there. However, it's a bit hard to see them back there, so we're going to continue up the river. Let's see if we can see a few more up ahead. Now, it does look like we're in luck this morning. There is a small bloat of hippos off here to the left-hand side, just behind the island. Now, hippos do spend most of their day in the water just like this to avoid overheating in direct sunlight. However, at night they'll walk many miles away from the riverbeds in order to feed out along the shore. As well as those hippos on the left-hand side, there's also a pelican species here known as the pink-backed pelican. They get that name from the pinkish coloration they have during mating season, and they are colonial nesters. That means they'll nest in groups of anywhere from 40 up to 1,000 individuals. They're also one of only 9 pelican species in the world. As well, down in the river here, just below the bridge on that left-hand side, we're going to be passing by some Nile crocodile. Now, the Nile crocodile averages around 16 feet in length, and they can eat up to half their body weight in a single sitting. They're not particularly picky eaters. While their diet mainly consists of fish, they'll eat just about anything that crosses their path. Headed away from the Safi River, we're headed over toward the savannah. As we make our way out toward the savannah, the vegetation here on either side of the truck will start to change. Up ahead off to the right-hand side, it looks like we'll be passing by a baobab tree. Now, the baobab tree is also known as the upside-down tree. That's for the fact that it grows leafless like this up to 9 months out of the year. It does that as a way to conserve water during the dry season out here on the savannah, storing all that water in those giant trunks of theirs. They're also known as the Tree of Life. Headed down into the savannah, you'll be able to see how it's shaped by the animals who roam through it. Elephants will knock down trees to eat on them. giraffe will trim up the trees while browsing, and antelope species and cattle will trim down the grasses. As we reach the bottom of the hill here in just a moment, off to that right-hand side, we'll be passing a number of Maasai giraffe. Now, Maasai giraffe are one of the tallest animals in the world, reaching 18 to 20 feet when fully grown. They're also unique for the very uneven patchwork that can be found on their coats, whereas reticulated giraffe have very even, straight-cut patches. Many of these Maasai giraffe off to the right-hand side by the tree line there are baby Maasai giraffe or adolescent Maasai giraffe. They can usually walk within an hour of being born out here on the savannah to help them avoid predator attacks. Now, Maasai giraffe do spend most of their day browsing, like this one straight out in the trees there is doing. Now, browsing is their way of eating. That's where they use their 18-inch prehensile tongues to get at leaves farther up in the trees. Their tongues are a dark purplish color as an evolutionary trait to help keep their tongues from getting sunburned while they eat all day. Now, coming up ahead off to the left-hand side in this small cave just in front of the rock walls there, you're going to be able to see a few African wild dog lying down in there. Now, the African wild dog is also known as the painted dog for their unique coat coloration, and they're one of the most effective hunters out here on the savannah. While they may look like domesticated dogs, unlike domestic dogs and wolves, they only have 4 toes on each foot instead of 5.
Yeah.
As well on that left-hand side, we're going to be passing 2 more grazing species. Right up here by the truck, we're passing some Ankole cattle. They're also known as Watusi cattle for the people who originally domesticated them. While farther back by the tree line are some sable antelope. Sable antelope also serve as the symbol of Romney Reserve. Now, here on either side of the truck, these towers of dirt that we're passing, those are termite mounds. Termite mounds are made of a combination of saliva, dung, and dirt, and they can get as hard as concrete out here. Now, despite being hard as concrete, they are actually porous. That allows ventilation through to the entire structure. Larger animals like the Maasai giraffe here on the left-hand side like to use these termite mounds as scratching posts, wearing them down until smaller species of antelope can hop on top and use them as lookout towers.
Yeah.
As well, here on the right-hand side, we're going to be taking another pass by some Maasai giraffe over here by the tree line.
All right, I'll get it.
Now, swinging around the next few corners out to the right-hand side, we're going to be passing a number of other grazing species up on the hills up ahead. Now, to the far right of the hill up ahead, off near the dirt road, there is going to be a smaller species of antelope lying down known as the springbok. Now, springbok get their name from the springing action they have when frightened or agitated, springing 6 feet in the air from a standstill or 13 feet forward when running. As well, up near the top of the hill is a herd of white-bearded wildebeest. Now, the white-bearded wildebeest is also known as the gnu for the new grunting sound that they make, and they're one of the second biggest congregators in the world aside from us humans. They can congregate in groups of up to 1.5 million for their yearly migrations. There's another view of a Maasai giraffe there on the right-hand side. Now, here in just a moment, we're going to be headed away from the savannah and off toward elephant country. As we make our way along the very edge of the savanna up ahead, you'll want to keep your eyes off to the right-hand side, as elephants have been known to wander out this far. It does look like there's going to be one up at the very edge of the watering hole up ahead on that right-hand side, off near that rock area there. Now, because that African elephant currently is solitary, it's likely a male African elephant. They'll either be entirely solitary or form smaller groups known as bachelor groups. Now, as we make our way off toward the heart of elephant country, it's important to know that one of the biggest threats to elephants is human encroachment. Often elephants will be pushed out of their native habitats toward human settlements, and they'll go crop raiding as a way to easily feed. When this happens, it can lead to human and elephant conflict, but thanks to research done right here at Harambe Reserve, we found that African elephants are actually quite afraid of bees. Using that information and working with Kenyan farmers, we've been able to implement bee fences around properties and crop fields. That keeps the elephants from crop raiding, as well as giving Kenyan farmers a secondary income from the honey that the bee fences produce. Here on either side of the truck, we're also passing through the red clay pits. Elephants often eat red clay like this as a way to gain minerals and nutrients they wouldn't often get in their daily diets. Now, one of the main reasons elephants are often pushed off of land, like you can see out here to our left-hand side, is for mining operations. Elephants usually live on land that contain large amounts of metals, commonly found in your everyday smartphones and electronics. That's why it's so important to reduce, reuse, and recycle many of the electronics that we already have to help protect the elephants and the lands that they already occupy. Now, it does look like there's some elephants up ahead by the watering hole. You can see them just around the corner up there. We're going to be able to swing around the corner up ahead. However, that is a baby elephant out by the baobab tree there. Now, as you're going to be able to see in just a moment, a lot of elephants do have a light dusting of dirt and mud on their backs. Now, that is purposely put there by the elephants themselves as a form of sun protection. Elephant skin, much like our own, can be very sensitive to sunlight and could easily burn if not properly protected.
I got it, Bites. You ain't got that down. I got it.
Mama, that's right. Oh, yes, super.
As well as the elephants on the left-hand side. Here on the left, we're going to be passing the flock of greater flamingo. Now, the greater flamingo is the lightest species of flamingo. They get that coloration over time from their diet of mainly brine shrimp. Now, most of their feathers are this very pale pinkish color. A lot of the intense coloration that they do have exists on the insides of their wings. Now, off to the left-hand side there, dug out into the field, that is a mud wallow over there. Mud wallows are often good indications that white rhinos may be in the area. Now, white rhinos often use those mud wallows as a way to cool down, as well as a way to cover themselves in a layer of mud as a form of sun protection and bug repellent.
You're fine, got you in it.
Left-hand side up in the second hill there, you can see a cheetah lying down in some of the sunspots up ahead. Cheetah are one of the fastest land animals in the world. They can reach speeds of 60 miles an hour in just around 3 seconds. They're also one of the few big cats that hunt during the day. Now, the tear mark-shaped markings commonly found under a cheetah's eyes help them hunt during the day by reflecting the sunlight away from their eyes. As well, up on the left-hand side here in just a moment, we're going to be passing by a kopje. Now, kopjes are collections of rocks like this that jut out from the savanna. Lions can sometimes be seen hanging around these structures as a way to survey the savanna for any potential prey. Now, lions themselves will sleep anywhere from 20 to 21 hours during the day. The lionesses going out to hunt and protect the territory at night, while the males stay behind to protect the cubs. It looks like there are some lions right here at the front of the kopje.
Look at it. Oh, you see a lion? On top of the rock?
Yeah, we're going to see it coming around here, right there. See the big lion? Laying there on the rock?
Now, because lions are nocturnal, their vision will get up to 6 times better than ours during the night, as well as that's when they're more likely to start vocalizing. A lion's vocalizations will reach up to 5 miles across an open savanna. Now, we will get another chance to see those white rhinos you saw off to the right-hand side. They're just around the corner.
I got it. Wow.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
As well, on the left-hand side, we're going to be passing by some warthogs and their burrows. Now, warthogs like those here on the left will often, while they are burrowing animals, they don't often like digging their own burrows. Instead, they'll often reuse older burrows dug by other animals. As well, up on the right-hand side, as the white rhino, we're also going to be passing by some bontebok. Now, bontebok only exist on reserves like this now, due to being hunted to near extinction in the wild for their unique chestnut brown coats. Bontebok are this antelope species up here on the dirt road. While farther back you can see the white rhino in the tree line there. Now, they can weigh up to 5,000 pounds and charge at 35 miles an hour. There are only so many of them left in the world due to poaching for their keratin horns. Now, as well, up here under the tree there on the right-hand side, those are a number of ostrich eggs. Now, ostrich do nest communally, laying all their eggs under one nest under a dominant hen. The eggs themselves can weigh up to 3 pounds each, and a full-grown human can stand on an ostrich egg and it wouldn't break. Now, here we're entering a newer area of the reserve known as the Magadi Glen. Recently, a small number of scimitar-horned oryx have been spotted here in the glen. Now, they're normally native to the arid and desert plains of northern Africa. They have white coats that help protect them from the desert sunlight, as well as the fact that they don't start sweating until it reaches around 115 degrees. Now, living amongst the wildlife isn't without its challenges. Humans living near the reserve are always looking for ways to protect their lives and their livestock. Now, conservation organizations know this and will often look for solutions that benefit both humans and animals. Reserves like Harambe Reserve and those across Africa often work closely with organizations like the Disney Conservation Fund to help fund research and bring awareness to many of the animals you've seen here today. It stands to reason that the more we know about these animals, the better we can do to protect them and their habitats well into the future. However, that will be the end of our safari today.